Buenos días, queridos alumnos de Cela Spanish School Online. Our class today is for beginner students. We will talk about the conjugation of regular verbs in the present. This video is also available in Spanish. The video is part of the material of our Spanish courses for self-study. In Spanish, we have three groups of verbs. Those that end in ar, like trabajar. Those that end in er, like comer. And those that end in ir, like vivir. Most verbs in Spanish end in ar. When we make new verbs, sometimes from English words like chequear, new verbs end in ar. Many verbs that end in er and in ir are irregular. Now, let's see how is the conjugation of each one. In our video on personal pronouns, which I recommend you see first, we explain the function and use of each of the personal pronouns in Spanish. To conjugate a verb, we must remove the ending, in this case, ar. To get the root, in this case, trabaj. In regular verbs, the root is the same in all persons of the verbal conjugation. In irregular verbs, there may be changes in the root, changes in the ending, or changes in both. Well, we remove the ending ar and place the corresponding ending for each person in the verbal conjugation. O for the first person. Yo trabajo. Tú trabajas. Él, ella, usted trabaja. Nosotros, nosotras trabajamos. Vosotros, vosotras trabajáis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes trabajan. Please pay attention to the pronunciation. It is trabajan and not trabajan, because in Spanish the words ending in n, s, o vocal have the tonic syllable in the penultimate. This is explained in detail in our video about the pronunciation of words. Let's now conjugate a verb from the second group. A verb that ends in er, like comer. We remove the ending er and have the root com. Yo como. Tú comes. Él, ella, usted come. Nosotros comemos. Vosotros coméis. ellos, ellas, ustedes comen. And a verb that ends in ir, like vivir. We remove the ending ir and the root viv remains. Yo vivo. Tú vives. Él, ella, usted vive. Nosotros, nosotras vivimos. Vosotros, vosotras vivís. Ellos, ellas, ustedes viven. You always have to pay attention to the pronunciation. Now, let's see the difference between the conjugation of the verbs of the three groups. If you look at the table, in the present, the first person singular yo always ends in o. As we explained in the video of personal pronouns, the verb ending already indicates who the subject is. So, we do not use pronouns in the verbal persons who have only one verbal form, like yo, tú, nosotros, and vosotros, unless we want to emphasize the subject. In the third person, there are three possibilities for a single verbal form. In this case, we always have to indicate the subject of the sentence to clarify. I recommend watching the video of personal pronouns in which we explain all this in detail. We see that the verbs that end in ar have the vowel a in the rest of the persons. Trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajáis, trabajan. The conjugation of verbs ending in er and ir is quite similar. Only the persons nosotros and vosotros are different. Hemos for verbs ending in er and imos for verbs ending in ir for nosotros, and es and is for vosotros. As we explained in other videos, vosotros is used only in Spain. Let's talk a little about the use of the present. In Spanish, we have only one present. We have no progressive present. We have a gerund, but this is used only for ongoing actions. We use the present to talk about the actions that occur in the present. For example, estudio español. To talk about our current habits and customs. For example, normalmente trabajo mucho. And to talk about future actions with a future marker. For example, mañana trabajo de 8 a 5. Do not translate the present progressive from English with the gerund into Spanish. It is something very different. You must use the present to speak in Spanish of your current actions, habits, and customs. It is very important to master the conjugation of the verbs in the present before beginning to study other tenses, since the endings can be easily confused. In confusing the endings, there are many misunderstandings. The verb is the word in the sentence that indicates who does what, when. If it is wrong, the message does not arrive correctly. Bien, queridos alumnos, this has been our class today. I invite you to visit our website and continue learning Spanish with our videos. Chao, hasta la próxima.